Anya Beth Epstein on June 4th, 1988 in Boulder, Colorado with my twin brother, Shia LaBeouf, to our father, Stephen Bruce Epstein, and our mother, Shayna Sadie LaBeouf, who separated us, forging our birth certificates as part of a ritualized, highly organized, generationally planned child trafficking cult that initiates 3-year-olds.
And we're back to talk about this woman who is going viral for saying what sounds like complete obscurity at first, but I've done some digging, and it's not that far outside of the realm of possibility. She also gives some insight about Epstein, Diddy, and Justin Bieber, as well as the inner workings of some of these elite families. So before you roll your eyes and scroll on, hear me out. Some of you may remember I briefly covered Shia LaBeouf in a Still Not Crazy episode way back Wednesday. Most of you probably won't, because it was several years ago, but I do have a pretty solid understanding of his past, and there's a reason I've chosen to cover this. Some of what I had speculated in that video was touched on in the 2019 drama written by Shia called Honey Boy, which he claims was loosely based on his childhood, a script he had written while in rehab.
How you doing? How's everything?
Doing well. How are you?
Boy, that movie's great. That movie you wrote and star in, it is a fantastic movie.
Thank you.
You like it, I assume, right?
I do. I like it, yeah.
It came out the way you hoped it would?
It did. Better than I hoped it would.
It is about your life. You play your dad,
Yes.
or character largely based on your dad, and
Yes.
then there are actors who do a great job playing a young version of you.
Incredible, yeah.
And you wrote this movie while in court-ordered rehab.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, did you say, hey, I got this time, I'm going to be in here, I'm going to do this? Was this something you set out to do?
Well, they said you have PTSD, you got to start writing. This is how you get to the solution. The only way out is through. So I started writing all these dark chapters, of my life, and it wound up being this script form thing. Sent it to my friend, became a movie.
Fucking funny. That rest of it ain't funny. You understand what I'm saying?
You ain't funny. Give me a fucking cigarette, Dad.
You're not
I'm
gonna
done
get
with
shit
this.
till we do the fucking scene the way that I think it's funny, or you ain't gonna get fucking nothing from it.
I'm doing you a favor by paying you to do my shit, right? Give me a fucking cigarette, Dad.
You're doing who a favor?
You. Who else is gonna give a fella a job?
Now that I have an even deeper understanding of complex trauma since then, as well as the various impacts and outcomes, it would seem to me the loosely based part is because the memories of his childhood were spotty, and he needed to fictionalize the glimpses between dissociative fugues, flashbacks, and strange recurring nightmares that seem all too real for comfort. As many of us who've suffered from childhood trauma experience, that we must piece together as we reach middle age and beyond, becoming the ages of those who were meant to love, support, and protect you, who failed drastically, sure is a real eye-opener. With this understanding, and while still putting the puzzle pieces of my childhood together, I'm apt to believe the most atrocious parts of this movie were reality, and the apparently normal and average moments in between were imagined. Because nobody remembers a random Tuesday, they remember extreme highs and lows, and generally it's the bad that leaves the bigger imprint. Formulating a structured and cohesive timeline when you had complex childhood trauma is not easy, let alone making it into a full-length feature film, or perhaps mentioning it was loosely based was for his own safety.
My name is Anya, or Anya Wick, formerly Anna Petrova, formerly Owen Theodore Epstein, born Anya Beth Epstein on June 4th, 1988 in Boulder, Colorado, with my twin brother, Shia LaBeouf, to our father, Stephen Bruce Epstein, and our mother, Shayna Sadie LaBeouf, who separated us, forging our birth certificates as part of a ritualized, highly organized, generationally planned child trafficking cult that initiates 3-year-olds and deifies incest and inbreeding. I have not been in danger, just been incredibly anxious. However, the world deserves for the truth to belong to the public. This is for accountability. If for any reason I fail to appear on my interviews this weekend, you are more than welcome and encouraged to upload everything from your account. Thank you.
After posting that and agreeing to a few interviews, her very next video was basically her trying to say she's not in danger, but in a way that many considered to be confirmation that she may actually be in more danger than people had initially imagined.
I owe all of you an apology for letting you think my family would ever harm me. And I owe my family an apology for running away from the chances you gave me for a private conversation before taking this issue public.
She was a lot more confident and assertive while making those initial allegations about her origin and upbringing, but in that follow-up video, apologizing to her family, she seemed quite fearful and upset, so it led people to believe she may have been threatened. People became even more concerned when that first video was suddenly taken down, but Anna posted another follow-up video stating that it was removed by the platform and reassuring people that she's safe, seemingly back to her more confident and assertive vibe.
First things first, I did not take that video down. TikTok did. Secondly, I'm fine. And I understand that because you know I'm telling the truth, it's going to be very difficult to convince you that I'm safe. But I realized this the other day. Because my claims are true, no one's going to hurt me. It would only bring attention to what I've been saying, which they don't want to happen. Further, despite the fact that I brought a war about the children, most of my family just loves me and wants me to be okay. I have been exhausted and stressed. I've had my heart issues flare up. I spent 4 hours napping at my friend's house the other day after puking 3 times in the street. Sober. I've just been staying in my shelter in Brooklyn and working in Manhattan. This has taken a toll on my body and my health, but no one in my family wants to hurt me. I don't know what I can say to convince you of that, but I am very sorry for letting my anxiety let me think I was ever unsafe. Taking those jokes from my brother seriously. It's not fair to you. It's not. But, like, I'm fine. I'm safe. I promise. First things...
She then doubles down by announcing that she has evidence files too large to host on any free web storage space, and asks for the public's help in finding the most cost-effective solution, to which many offered.
The data I want to share is in a file that is too large for Google Drive, Dropbox, Mega, or any of those. I'm not finding any good search results on where to host something this size. So, does anybody know how to code? The data...
In her pinned videos, she talks about how she was able to escape her family in 2015, and that her believing her gender was an issue was convenient for them, and in 2019 they encouraged and paid for body modifications where they removed her chest and rendered her infertile.
I got out in 2015 after years of not being able to survive as my enslaved female self anymore. I decided to take testosterone to transition to male. Desexing myself completely devalued me for them, so they let me go without fuss, but not after encouraging the transition. Things were good for them if I believed that my gender was all that was wrong with me. So they paid for my double mastectomy. In 2019, my doctors encouraged me to have a hysterectomy. I'm exhausted. I was given a hysterectomy with oophorectomy, removal of the uterus and ovaries. And then a year later, I started getting my memories back. Quit the testosterone, went back on estrogen as soon as possible, and set myself on a mission to learn more of and tell the truth with my siblings. Came up with the idea for me to write a screenplay, autobiography. I believed it was going to be a mechanism to tell the truth, that it was not going to just be a work of fiction. Then when I got to New York to answer this court case, everyone told me to ignore it, whether for my best interest or theirs. It became apparent to me I had to choose between being with them now or telling the truth now. I am trying to live with my decision. It is incredibly painful, but I'm letting myself feel all the warmth pouring in from all over the world. It's amazing. Got people cheering me on from the indigenous of Arctic Alaska to Switzerland and Australia, and I am so incredibly grateful. I'm going to give myself some mental rest today after I set up this GoFundMe you guys are asking for, which I do really appreciate. I got a little bit more protection. I am safe. I am in good health. I am not suicidal. I am so thankful for you. Truly. While I'm out here telling the truth is, it really hurts. I'm still trying to come up with ways to undo this. Part of me is, so I can be with them now. But I know you've all been waiting for this validation. And they have too. I have to believe some of them are just waiting for someone else to speak. I'll get you guys an update as soon as I can.
In an earlier pinned post, shortly after Diddy was arrested, she weighs in and draws comparisons between Blink Twice and what Justin Bieber may have gone through while spending time with Diddy as a child. She goes on to describe she was traded and exploited within her family and other notable names in Hollywood, asserting that there's a lot more going on right in front of our faces than most of us realize.
My name is Anna, or Anya Wick. Changed from Anna Petrova when I was briefly married. Changed from Owen Theodore Epstein when I transitioned back to female. Changed from my birth name, Anya Beth Epstein, when I transitioned from female to male. I'll come back to that later. I want to talk about Justin, Diddy, and Blink Twice as conversations I've been seeing relate to my personal experiences. These are experiences I've been wanting to speak on for a while now, and I've been pretty terrified of retaliation like my uncle faced, or repercussions of general disbelief, but it doesn't matter. When I spoke to the FBI a couple of years ago, they interviewed my perpetrators, who, of course, denied their actions, and the case was dropped. I'm tired of it weighing on me. It's had me sick, and these conversations are happening right now. So, I believe that Justin was passed around, that it's perfectly normal in the industry. I believe Diddy's guilty, and that he is maybe being a scapegoat of sorts to keep attention away from the bigger picture. And I think that Blink Twice is a metaphor for human trafficking that is actually aided by LSD. I know they did MDMA in the film, but like the perfume that makes people forget, the venom that helps them remember, it's all very parallel to the effects that LSD alone had on me Well, I was growing up getting passed around at orgies as a sex slave. I had amnesia, like a split mind for the majority of my life. That was the point of the acid. Everything that I experienced on it was blocked out completely, and I only remembered the circumstances I was trapped in when the drug had already kicked in. So what happened is my family would dose me and rape me with their friends and relatives. Always, by the time I was high, it was impossible for me to run. And by the time the drug wore off, I would have forgotten everything. Now, this started in infancy and slowed down and finally stopped when I began taking testosterone in 2015. I had to de-sex myself. My memories began resurfacing and finally sticking in 2020, at which point my healing started to begin. Sometimes it was just my father. Usually it was both my parents and my brothers at an isolated cabin they had purchased. Often it was with the extended family we had in town, and sometimes it was at these massive parties on vacation. I would be told we were going to a family reunion or one of my father's work functions. They would give me something special to drink. I'd get ogled by a bunch of old men, sometimes introduced to various people as my siblings. I would initially enjoy myself, kind of. And then I recognized the effects on my body that were so familiar. Memories would start to come back, and the horror set in before I'd get raped. I'd usually be mostly unconscious for these assaults and not come to until we had left the affair or just the morning after packing up. Why do I bring Hollywood into this? At the orgy I remember best, at Aspen in late spring of 2007, I was introduced to Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, Larry David as my uncles before the assaults began. When I came to, rope bound in a hotel room at the lodge, Larry was still orally penetrating me. My mother apologized to him, told him he had to stop. He complimented her for how well she trained me. I couldn't move or scream, and she mocked me for trying. There are several other people I've met throughout my life, but that is the event I remember most clearly, which takes me back to Justin and Blink Twice and gossip about this happening in Hollywood. It is my wish for the public to become aware of what has been happening right in front of their faces, and for children today to become freed from the abuse that I believe they are still experiencing. I can go more in depth on my story, but it isn't about me. Violent abusers are being lauded as public figures and gifted fortunes and power. And while my past remains secret, whether or not anyone will ever verify it, I cannot feel at peace with myself. I'll answer questions anyone may have if anyone pays attention to this. And thank you for watching and listening.
Definitely gives us a lot more to think about. And with all the more coming out about Diddy and his freak-off parties, we need to be paying a lot more attention to what these alleged survivors are saying regarding the industry and society among the elites in general. As always, I encourage you to do your own research, use your discretion, and draw your own conclusions. She does have a GoFundMe set up to help her with the costs incurred relating to her current legal battle involving her ex-husband, and to get herself to a safer place as she's speaking more openly about her family and the industry. If you'd like to consider donating, the link is in the description, as well as links to everything else. I'll be continuing my crusade for the common denominators of truth, so make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the flip side.